Hey there friends, today I am creating a double page layout with a single photo. That's right, I said one single photo on a double page layout. And that's because this layout is going to be mostly about the story that I want to tell. Now I have two sheets of pattern paper here, and you'll recognize that the one that I'm cutting right now is what I used for my single page layout this month to add my journaling. And I loved the dotted lines to add my journaling to that single pager, but I also want to use it on this double page spread this month. And because I don't have any more than this piece of paper here, I'm going to make this a 12 by 12 inch layout on the left side and an 8.5 inch by 11 on the right side. There is no right or wrong way to have a double page spread. You can have 12 by 12 paper with a pocket page. You could have a 12 by 12 with a 6 by 12. It doesn't matter. So I am mixing and matching my sizes here. Now, what I'm doing here, my photo is going to stand out quite a bit. And the reasoning is I have that beautiful orange background behind my daughter. And that is exactly why I took this photo. She was eating a gelato on the street in Portugal, and this was just a beautiful photo. I am going to mat up this photo and ink up those edges that I just textured with my scissors. But this photo is really going to stand out really well against this mainly white background paper. Now, I say mainly white, but there are a lot of pops of color. And then I'm going to use this brightly colored stripe to back my photo there too. So you'll see all those colors on the stripe on either side of the photo. So I really love that. What I love about both of these pattern papers is all of the energy and kind of movement. It's very playful, it's very fun, and so it's fitting about this layout about my daughter. So I have my photo in place where I want it to be. The next part is going to be my title. And like we talked about last month, my title will often introduce my story, and it is certainly doing that this month. So my title is going to be Our Easy Traveler. And this layout is going to be all about how well my daughter travels and how she is just wonderful to travel with. And the way I came up with this title is because I was looking at this cut apart sheet that I could take words from. And I saw that traveler there, and I thought, this is perfect, and this is exactly what I want to talk about. So remember that sometimes the products can help you figure out what you want to tell the story about. A lot of times you'll see a product that has a word or phrase on it, and it will spark an idea in your mind. So I'm just going to save that space there for my title and then move on to how I'm going to add this story to the page. I love these journaling tags, and in the spirit of using up the things, I am going to use most of this pack to add my journaling to the right side. I wanted those multicolored tags to hold on to the story. I was just seeing here that this cut apart will be perfect for holding my title. None of the tags are blank, and so I'm going to use that one there to add my title to. I'm just seeing if I can add the word traveler to a circle, but I think I will have to use that elsewhere. I'm just going to cut that out really quickly here. I love these kind of pattern papers. They are so useful for so many things, adding embellishment, adding titles, just really useful. So here I'm just seeing if I want to add my title in a round. And it really didn't make sense to me. So I decided to go ahead and put it in this journaling card, this little cut apart card. And I gotta love a spatula for helping me pick up all the things. So I'm creating this mixed title here with some tile alphas from LE Studio. Those awesome puffy alphas from the collection that I'm working with is Out and About from Pink Fresh Studio. And I'm holding on to that circle that I can add it to the other side. And I know I want to add my title right here, but I'm just trying to see if it makes sense to move my photo over to the left or keep it here on the right. And I definitely like it just like that, kind of on the right margin of the page, so that it's closer to the journaling on the right side, so that you see a connection between the photo and the words. I really like that. Okay, on this right side, I want my topmost tag to hang off of the page a bit. And that's going to be totally fine in my album because, it's an 8.5 inch by 11 inch sheet, so there's going to be some room at the top. I'm going to add some circles to this right side because the left side has so many circles and the right side has none. And so I want to tie the two pages together like that. I'm just seeing what kind of elements that I can grab from the entire collection, whether it's die cuts, anything. Another thing I'm going to do is, because this is going to be a list, I want to emphasize the fact that I have 5 things, and I'm going to create a little subtitle here underneath my title. But I want to add a lot of numbers over to the right over here. So I have this other little ticket cut apart sheet, and this is just left over in my stash. Always good to hold on to these little scraps for just such an occasion. But I also have a brand new sheet here, and I do want all of the numbers, so I'm going to cut out part of that brand new sheet as well, just so that I can layer up those numbers there. I have the large vellum numbers from LE Studio that I'm going to layer on top, and those are really awesome because you can read your journaling underneath. They don't cover up too much. So right now I'm just marking where everything is going to go because I want to add my journaling on the computer, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So all I did was I scanned in all of the tags on my scanner bed. So I created an 8.5 inch by 11 inch scan. I open up that JPEG file in Photoshop Elements as an 8.5 inch by 11 inch document, and then I start to add layers on top. So I add text layers, and for something like this Go tag, because there are multiple lines, you can just create multiple text layers to make sure that you don't have to deal with the kerning, which is the space in between the words and stuff like that. So you can create a different text layer for each line. So I added my text onto Go. I'm going to go ahead and do it here on Rome and make a text box this time because I have a big space. And then you can see there that you can clearly see my pencil lines. And so what I do when I get down next to those pencil lines is just hit the space bar to make sure that I stay away from the other side of the pencil lines so that I won't print there. And that's because that's where the next tag is going to go. So just adding my journaling here to each of the tags. You can play with the font. You can play with the size. I like to keep my size at around 11, probably no less than 11, because then it gets to be difficult to read. And when I am typing in a text box like this, I like to keep the space in between the lines no less than 10. So 11 and 10 is what I typically would do. On this exploring tag, again, you have lines here, so you can create a text box and just increase the spacing in between your lines, or you can do separate text layers so that you don't have to have that problem. But what I'm doing now is just adding all of my text to each of these tags. Okay, the last tag is this fun tag, and I'm just adding my text box here around that circle die cut and just hitting the space bar when I get close to it so I can start a new line. Okay, all of my text is added here. So what I did was I turned off the background layer. And to do that, you just click that little eyeball on your layers menu there, and you'll have a red dash through it. So it takes away the image in the background, leaving only your text. So then you can go ahead and print. Just be aware that you want to have borderless printing turned on. You don't want extra margins added here. So then I'm going to print this, and you can see that it's just my sheet of paper, my 8.5-inch by 11-inch sheet of paper with the text only. Now I am holding up this paper up to the lights next to my desk, and as I am adhering everything, I'm going to hold the paper up to the lights or a window if it's during the daytime, whatever, just so I can make sure that that text is lining up on those die cut tags. I am using repositionable adhesive from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L to adhere my die cut tags to my paper so that they're easy to take off once I reprint. Next, I put the piece of paper into my printer on the rear tray, and then I'm going to go back into Photoshop, hit print again, making sure that I'm feeding from the rear tray this time. And you'll want to make sure that you test this out to make sure you know which direction your printer feeds from. That's really important. So always do this as a test trial first to make sure you don't mess up any die cuts or pattern paper. Then I hit print, and you can see that my journaling is printed perfectly on these tags. Next, I am going to adhere them together, and remember I have those pencil lines there so I know exactly how they are going to be placed. I'm going to use permanent adhesive this time to attach them all together, and then I can adhere them to the page with dimensional adhesive. I really love this fun grouping of tags. It adds so much to the page, and this is a great example of how you can create a list but do something really visually interesting with it. So it's totally fine if you want to just create a bulleted list on your page with a piece of cardstock or with a journaling tag, but try to think outside of the box sometimes. If you have extra time to create a layout, think about how you can add your story in interesting ways using the products that you have on hand, like these die cuts. Or like some kind of cool digital die cut design that you could do on a background. So these vellum numbers, I don't want to see any adhesive under them, so I'm going to use my tiny attacher to adhere them right to these tags. Just creates another really fun layer. I love these numbers from LE Studio. They are definitely going to be missed when I run out of them. They are really handy, and they're nice and neutral and white, and they just look really cool when you start to layer them up with other things. Okay, and then I can use that Voyage die cut that I tried to use on the left side there, and I can add that to the right of my journaling tags. So fun. And I love how the icons to the right of those are kind of coming out of it. It really keeps your eye drawn to the right side of the page, which is the most important part. This is a really great example of how you can take a photo and not document it literally. So if I was documenting this photo literally, it would be, here's Lizzie eating her 55th gelato of our trip. and this time it was, and whatever flavor it was, um, because I have plenty of those kind of pictures. But this was a photo where it's so truly her with her spoon sticking out of her mouth and kind of that smirk on her face. And I wanted to use this so her photo to document what a great little traveler she is. Now you can see there that I added that little prize ribbon to add another circle right on top of my title, which is really fun. That traveler word, I'm going to use dimensional adhesive to pop that up right underneath the word easy. And I like how it has that nice cursive font there. It looks really nice. Okay, I added a tag to the left side of my photo there just to get a tag on the left side of the spread. Since I have so many tags on the right, wanted to add one to the left. I'm also adding these cute little number cut aparts to add extra layers of numbers and really emphasize this list that I'm going for on the right side of my page next to all of those tags. I'm going to grab another one of those little cut aparts and add the word go to the left side here. So I'm just balancing out the products from the right side of the spread to the left side of the spread. And this is a good habit to get into when you're creating a double page layout. Try to think about how you can duplicate what you add to one side to the other. Not exactly in the same way, but in different ways so that you can make connections across the page. These puffy stickers are gorgeous. I've almost used them up. I used that little paper airplane there underneath my title. With the word epic here. So I'm trying to find some fun little embellishments to add to these groupings here around my numbers and kind of further emphasize my bulleted, my list here. This little tag says going places. Love it. It's a good one for her. She definitely is going places. And then I love layering up different embellishments on others. So you can see that I've added a couple of the circles to the circle die cuts. This one I'm going to put on the bottom right side of the page, but I'm thinking about putting it in that green circle. It's just because I want 3 circles on the right side of the spread, and with the addition of that one I have 3. Looks quite nice. Just seeing here if there's anything else that jumps out at me that I want to add, and these enamels are really pretty. Have to add some of those. I'm going to add this one to this little grouping here next to my photo, and then I can add another one over here to the right. It's just all a matter of where I want it to go. And then some enamel dots, because you can never go wrong with a few enamel dots around, your embellishment groupings. Just adds a different texture, just something fun. I'm also going to add a little subtitle underneath the Our Easy Traveler, and I'm going to use strip journaling, which we talked about in class, to add a little subtitle there. So you don't always have to use it to add journaling. You can use it to add a little subtitle too. So you can see here that my subtitle turned out to be 5 reasons why we love to travel with you. And that's one of my favorite prompts, the 5 reasons why. You can use it for so many different things. I loved creating this page that really emphasizes this list of 5 things by using those awesome tags, by layering up all of the numbers, and pairing it with a favorite photo from a trip. is a this is a layout that I really love to look at, and I'm going to love to have in my album. So I hope this gives you some ideas on how you can incorporate your stories onto your pages. Have fun creating this month, you guys, and I can't wait to see what you share with me.